Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 9. So questions upon questions upon questions, I guess lead to answers upon answers upon answers. Now I'm always curious to hear what people are hearing. I'm curious to hear what people are saying, and I guess I'm hearing it, but also just what people are thinking when it comes to various things. But I guess in particular, for the sake of this video, that would be the final season of The Flash. So this will be I don't know, compilation sounds like a weird word to use, but this will be a compilation of, I guess, some of the biggest, what's going on remarks and statements that I've seen, I guess, just mainly on, the comments section, but also some stuff on Twitter over the past week or so. And I guess some of these just sprout from general curiosity, just sitting there going, like, oh, I wonder if that's still happening. And some are actually coming from potential hints and teasers from certain people. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know your general thoughts on this stuff, because you might have a completely different thought than what I'm going down, or you might have something similar but a bit different, and you just want to, voice your own opinion. Let me know in the comment section down below, as well as, I guess, any other questions you have that you got thinking, or that you've been thinking for the past X amount of time. And of course, you're going to enjoy the video, want to show your support and everything like that, and you're looking forward to the final season of The Flash, want to drop a like on the video to show support. So let's just get out of the gate. This is the first one. The amount of people that have messaged me about this saying, what does this mean? What, Pagey, you freaking idiot. What does this mean? Well, I don't know why you call me a freaking idiot. That's a bit rude. But anyway, Stephen Amell tweeted out, as most of you know, it would have been Monday? Yeah, Monday. Monday American time. It was the 10th of October, which marks the 10-year anniversary since Arrow premiered, which in turn marks the 10th anniversary of the Arrowverse starting. Though Arrow was the only show at the beginning for 2 seasons, it was still the start of the Arrowverse. So as you would expect, a lot of people posted stuff about the start of it, and mainly the Arrow actors, because they were there from the beginning, 10 years ago. But Stephen Amell did tweet this out. He goes, 10 years ago today, #Arrow premiered. I loved every single second of it. Deep down, ... I love a good ... You got to wonder if the suit still fits. Now, of course, this made people go, hold on. What are you hinting at here, Mr. Stephen Amell? And I've had a lot of people ask me about it. Now, obviously, I saw it. I think I did leave a reply on that thing, just going like I think it was like the Batman rubbing his chin sort of emoji, going, what the hell does that mean, Stephen? What the hell does that mean? And look, you can't look too deep into it, but at the same time, Stephen's definitely pulling us for a bit, isn't he? He's pulling us for a ride. He's definitely going, I could probably leave this here. I could probably say nothing, but I could probably put this here and just make people, get a headache over thinking, oh my God, he might come back, or just start to think how he could come back, or whatever it is. And of course, you know me, I'd love to see Oliver Queen come back in the final season of The Flash in whatever form, whether it's a flashback, whether it's time travel, whether it's some sort of weird reincarnation where he somehow is back alive, or most likely he's just back as a Spectre if you're going to do something in the present day. I would love it. I'm sure everyone else watching would love it if it made sense, and that's the big thing, if it makes sense. But I think all those options outside of the weird reincarnation thing, they do make sense. And I'm sure Stephen would love to do it. I'm pretty sure he posted like a fairly, well, I know he did, but I'm pretty sure it was like a fairly long, that's why I said pretty sure, but I'm pretty sure it's like a fairly long video on his Instagram of him walking through the Warner Brothers lot, which I didn't think he was walking through at first. On this day, on the 10th 10-year anniversary sort of day marking it, and just recounting all the things there. And I mean, just with the Arrowverse ending, it just feels like if there's one person who needs to show up to mark it all off, I think it has to be Stephen as Oliver Queen. I think that's a simple thing. However, I think it's also safe to not get your expectations too high, as I've said before. But also, we probably won't know. I mean, if he's going to show up, I reckon he wouldn't show up until the last episode, which doesn't film till March, I think it is, or like end of February. So there's a long time until we even get to that point where we could even get some sort of minor confirmation. And I have a feeling they wouldn't spoil it either. There's no need to, I don't think. So we might be waiting until May or something when the finale airs next year to find out if this is actually happening. So sure, I'm addressing it now because some people asked me about this tweet that Stephen put out. And yeah, like it's just adding to my want, but also curiosity. But I'm also not going to double down and say, if it doesn't happen, I'm going to do something weird, because I think you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. But come on, it's got to happen, surely. The next thing that a lot of people have been asking, this hasn't been of recent. I know I said over the past week or two, but this has been something that was more asked, I think, when the news initially dropped, when David Ramsey said this certain thing at a convention about I don't know, it was about 2 months ago, roughly. And that's when David Ramsey, who of course plays Diggle, said that in that episode from last season, The Flash, was it like the third or fourth last episode of season 8, when Diggle showed up and threw away the box and everything like that and all that stuff. He said that was the last time we see Diggle. And people think that's a really weird place to leave this version of Diggle, which we've spent, at that point, 9 years since the beginning of Arrow, with. You know, that seems like such a weird point to leave that character and then just pick up with this other version on Superman and Lois and just pretend like nothing's changed. He's meant to be the same version, even though they've said, no, he's not, he's different. So I would like to think that that wasn't the last we see of Diggle, just because it's such a weird way to leave that character. Like him throwing away the box. And it's such a disappointing thing as well, because people wanted the Green Lantern thing to happen and they were left with disappointment from that episode. So I just think that he shows up in this final season of The Flash, even if it's just for one episode, for a couple of scenes, similar to that episode last season. Surely he shows up, just like it's a closing thing, even if it's something where like it's something to do with Barry and Iris, or maybe Joe and Cecile finally get married or something like that and Diggle comes to the wedding, something like that. Surely Diggle shows up. It's just a weird place to leave that character. And I think it would leave just a bit of a bad taste in your mouth if that was the last time we saw him, at least within the Arrowverse in that Earth Prime version. So fingers crossed we see him again, even if it's just for one episode. I know he's going to be busy next year, or this current season, I guess, but also next year as well when they're still filming. But surely they got to make time for it. The next thing, we'll probably get through this quickly, and that's the Stargirl stuff. So at the moment, Breck Bassinger, who plays Courtney Whitmore, Stargirl on Stargirl, is sort of like camped in Vancouver because she's there for a decently long period with a movie sort of series that she's doing. And obviously Vancouver is where the Flash films, but also another show called Superman and Lois. So a lot of people are wondering, you know, while she's there, are they going to try and do some sort of Stargirl crossover? And people obviously want mainly the Flash because it tonally, I guess, it fits more with the Flash. Like Stargirl's a show and I guess a character as well. And the answer to that is, who the hell knows? We got the most random crossover no one thought was going to happen with Stargirl, and that's her appearing on Titans with frickin' Doom Patrol. 2 R-rated shows. Are they R-rated? I think they are, or like, you know, mature shows because they swear and there's like nudity and over the, like, I guess like fake blood. But anyway, she's crossing over with that show, which is so random. No one saw that coming. I don't know if it's really going to work. We'll have to wait and see when Titans premieres in, is it November or something? About a month away, roughly. So we won't know until whenever that episode airs after that premiere date. So it could be a really good crossover, but people wanted either a Flash or as a backup, Superman and Lois crossover because it just totally fits a bit more. And also those 2 other shows also are in the CW like Stargirl does. And whether this happens it's up in the air. Like, I don't think it would at this stage. I think that boat's maybe sailed. But I think, honestly, if you pick one of the shows, it might be Superman and Lois just because it's not its final season. So there's still like a future thing that could be built there. But I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Stargirl crossover with the Flash. Obviously, the Flash can travel in the multiverse. I'm sure they'll somewhat tap into rediscovering it in this final season, just to at least lay out that it's there for Barry to tap into again. And maybe that could lead to something with Stargirl, but it's a stretch at this point. But as I said, they don't finish filming until March. There's a long time until they wrap up filming, so who knows what's possible. And this one is more of the next question is more of like it's not an attack, but it's people going, hold on, like, weren't you saying this like X amount of months ago and now you're saying this? And that's people asking me like, why don't you think Reverse Flash should be in the final season anymore? And I haven't said that. I haven't said that at all. But obviously leading into the final season, like I guess at the beginning of season 8 and at points during season 7 and even earlier, I said the final season story should be around Reverse Flash and maybe an origin story, but sort of leading to the events that then started off the show with Reverse Flash killing Barry's mother or something along those lines. And that stuff could still happen. It's just at the end of last season, the end of season 8, sort of tied a bow on that in some way. It didn't necessarily finish that Reverse Flash story, but it ended in a way where if they didn't come back to it, I think we'd be fine as an audience. I think they've done enough with Reverse Flash, though the door is still open to do something with him in this final season, whether it is the Tom Cavanagh version, the Matt Letcher version, or another version as a whole. I'm not saying I don't think he should be there. I just think season 8 did a decent enough job wrapping it all up, even though it was a bit rushed. So I'm not going to be mad if he shows up in the final season. I'll be like, okay, cool. More Reverse Flash to finish off the show as a whole. He's been one of, if not the best characters on the show. So why wouldn't you want him there in the final season? So I don't want him to not be there. I just think they did enough last season to finish the character off if they choose to. Now, the next one is like something that I'm not too sure exactly what people mean by it, because it's a pretty broad statement, but they just say, do you think the Flash's final season will be like Arrow's? Now, Arrow's was different. Arrow's led into Crisis. The entire final season, for the most part, was led into what Oliver was going to do in Crisis, which is sort of sacrifice himself and the journey to that point. And I just don't know why the Flash would be like that. When I've said that like the Flash should look at what Superman Lois is, not what Superman Lois, what Arrow has done, it's more the general structure and the focus. So the focus was on Oliver, the focus was on on those core characters and having fun with them, and taking you down memory road. So some stuff felt like season 1, some stuff felt like season 5 or season 2, and bring back characters and remarks and stuff like that. Obviously, I'll always plant my feet in cement when I talk about I wasn't a big fan of them trying to set up the spin-off, and it wasted like at least a third of the season, if not half. I'll always be annoyed at that. But the rest of that season is like a 10 out of 10 when it's not trying to set up that spin-off. And I think that's because it focused on the stuff we wanted to watch, was these core characters and going on these fun journeys and those throwbacks. And that's what I expect and want from the Flash's final season. I didn't expect them to set anything up, because what's the point? We're not going to get a spin-off from the Flash. We're not going to get a Bart and Norris spin-off. This is it. Arrows didn't have to set it up, but also there's other shows there. It could have done some other stuff for shows, but it really focused on Arrow's main stuff for the most part in that first half, especially. So I want that from episode 1 to episode 13 for the Flash. I'm sure there's going to be some new characters like Captain Boomerang and maybe another like new good guy if they want to do it. But for the most part, focus on what you have, and I think you got a really, really fun, solid, and enjoyable final season. And the final thing, which I've seen a good amount of, and has mainly been since they started filming the new seasons of both The Flash and Superman Lois, and that's what are the chances of Superman showing up in The Flash Season 9, or, on the other hand, The Flash showing up on Superman Lois. Now, I think you're much more likely to get Superman showing up in The Flash Season 9 than The Flash showing up on Superman Lois, with the big reason being, well, we know that Superman exists on Earth Prime, where the Flash takes place, but on Superman and Lois' Earth, he's the only good powered person, apparently. There is no Flash. So unless it's Barry Allen showing up going, I have no powers and I'm randomly a forensic scientist that's here to do some forensic sciencey stuff. That would be lame. So you want Superman showing up on the Flash Season 9, and they can have him in that new Superman suit. They can say, hey, like the new threads, got them off screen. That's what happens when you not show up on screen in this universe for a year or so, or 2 years, or whatever it is. So he could just show up in his Superman Lois suit on Earth Prime. I mean, what would be the big deal? And he could show up there and have some fun. Now, I don't know what the logistical issues around that is, the scheduling stuff. It could just be for one episode. It could be for half an episode, whatever it is. But I think you're much, much, much more likely to get Superman showing up in the Flash Season 9 than the other way around, just because of how everything's been set up. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts on this. Do you completely disagree with some of the stuff I've said? Do you slightly agree with some little changes here and there you want to mention? So let me know your thoughts down there in the comments, as well as any other questions you might have. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.